If you've been following the Lakers for the last few seasons, you'd know they've got some major issues within their front office. The biggest one who gets most of the blame is, frankly, Rob Pelinka. The King has now apparently called out Pelinka. Today, we'll look at his comments and all the problems surrounding the Vice President of Operations at the Lakers. Let's get started, starting with LeBron's finally calling out Pelinka. Despite winning the NBA championship in 2020, the Lakers have been really poor, especially in the trade market and with their recruitment process. Much of the blame goes to Rob Pelinka, of course, and with so many blunders, which we'll no doubt get to a little later in this video, it's not a surprise that he's coming under so much criticism. And now it seems that LeBron James has finally had enough of Pelinka. His frustration was very evident after the Lakers' win against the Wizards. The King was asked about the organization's plans for the remainder of the season, especially now with Anthony Davis set to miss the next month of action at the minimum. His response was full of frustration, and while he tried not to go all out, he still said enough for reporters to speculate that the organization isn't exactly on the same page. James explained how it wasn't a question for him because he doesn't know how the front office will go about the AD injury and whether they'll look at some trades to compensate for AD's loss. He pointed out how he's been showing up, and he's not wrong. The small forward has been in sensational form and remains the reason the Lakers aren't further down the table. In fact, LeBron said that he's always prepared and works by getting his teammates up too and wants to be focused on the game. But he's not in the front office, rather he plays the game and just tries to win basketball games. Adding to that, LeBron's frustration with the Lakers grows, but those weren't the only comments from LeBron in the presser. In fact, he's still having to do all the carrying, and at nearly 38 now, it's unfair that he doesn't have a better supporting cast. LeBron's averaging over 27 points per game so far this season, and yet the Lakers aren't even in a playoff spot. So it's hardly a surprise that LeBron would be frustrated that the Lakers aren't reluctant to make trades and help the team's chances of making it to the playoffs. The King mentioned that he only plays the game and doesn't influence any of the decision-making at the front office. This could be a way for LeBron to tell the fans that he isn't as involved in the recruitment as initially believed, especially after the Russell Westbrook trade. Because soon after the first mention of all the draft picks, James was once again asked if the Lakers might become even more reluctant to trade draft picks. The idea behind that question was that the Lakers might think that AD is a liability in the long run and wouldn't want to pick up their picks because they would be willing to trade him too, considering he hasn't become the leading figure for the Lakers. Once again, LeBron made it known that it wasn't something he knew much about and, in fact, implored the reporters to ask Rob Pelinka the same question. Could it mean there's a growing rift behind the scenes in LA? We wouldn't rule it out. Also, could it mean a change of plans in LA? If recent rumors are to be believed, there could be a lot of problems between LeBron and the Lakers front office. Many saw it coming during the offseason when Rob Pelinka and company were very reluctant to conclude a deal for Kyrie Irving and wanted to retain their draft picks. The move didn't go through and the Lakers missed out on the chance to recruit the talented point guard. In hindsight, many would say it was a blessing with all the controversy Kyrie found himself in, but his recent form must be leaving a bad taste in LeBron's mouth. Many insiders believe that LeBron was heading the Lakers' pursuit of Kyrie Irving and apparently sounded him out too, but the deal was never done. But then LeBron signed a new contract too, and that lucrative contract indicated that maybe the talks about a potential rift were nonsense because the Lakers were willing to commit to LeBron's future. Even Pelinka explained how he'd do everything to ensure the Lakers are ready for the upcoming season, but as it turns out, the Lakers still haven't traded Russell Westbrook, and their trades remain intact. Despite a poor start to the season, LeBron and AD have managed to get the Lakers season up and running, and while they still find themselves well behind the playoff spots, it seems that Pelinka's changed his mind again. There's a growing possibility that the Lakers might not be willing to trade their draft picks away. Not to mention, the change in plans is apparently due to AD's injury. As expected, the change in Pelinka's plans has occurred due to AD's recent foot injury. The 30-year-old is expected to miss at least 1 month of NBA action due to the injury he suffered in the Lakers' win against the Nuggets on the 17th of December. And as far as their front office is concerned, the Lakers have written the remainder of the season off. There's an increasing possibility within the camp that they simply aren't good enough to make make it to the playoffs this season, and that's why the front office is even more reluctant to make short-term moves. Of course, from LeBron's perspective, that's the stuff of nightmares. He'll be 38 before New Year's Eve, and for someone putting in over 27 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists, it seems that he'll be missing out on the playoffs once again, and that's not what you want to do in the twilight of your career. That really doesn't bode well for the broken Lakers team front office, which has time and time again made some horrendous decisions and found itself on the brink of another season without the playoffs. And it's a shame as well. When LeBron had a decent team and AD played the majority of the season without getting injured, the Lakers won a ring only 2 years ago. But this lack of ambition won't sit right with the King, who was hoping for a lot more and could mean that he ends up leaving in the summer. Moving on, this lack of ambition is sabotaging LeBron's legacy. It's staggering to think that LeBron in his 20th season in the NBA is still having to do a massive carry job. For someone who spent the first part of his career on a Cavs side that just wasn't good enough to win rings, it seems that LeBron's career is coming full circle, and he'll end it all in the same way too. In between, he had a decent Miami Heat side, and he cashed in on it by winning 2 rings. Of course, they could have won another one, but that's the thing. LeBron has almost never had enough help from the rest of the team on a consistent basis. Even the Lakers side, which won the NBA 2 years ago, needed LeBron to play out of his skin. He did just that, shooting from the field at 51.3% and 36.5% from the three-point range, the best he's averaged in the last 5 years. The 25 points per game might not stand out, but they were joined together with 7.7 rebounds and 7.8 assists, 1.1 steals, and more than a block every other game. All this before exploding in the finals and winning a ring. Now it seems that he'll probably have to do all that, and even then, it might not be enough because the bench players are just not good enough. And the blame has to remain with Rob Pelinka and no one else. The Lakers did sack Frank Vogel in the summer, but what more could he have done with this team? Up next, can the Lakers stay alive without AD? So once again, with the odds stacked against LeBron, the question we have to ask is, can he do it once more in his career? Can he carry this extremely average Lakers team to the playoffs? It might just be his biggest achievement yet, but would it really be even worth it? Pelinka remains in the job because the Lakers won that ring 2 years ago, when in fact that ring only did more damage to the Lakers. More importantly, it might not even be enough if LeBron keeps on playing like this. Somehow this Lakers team is even worse than the Doncic-led Mavericks, who are so heavily dependent on the Slovenian. So if Pelinka has truly thrown the towel in, it's shameful, but it means that we're all left hoping for another miracle from the King. Lastly, could all this lead to a massive summer of change in LA? Well, if Rob Pelinka's decision has changed and the Lakers aren't going to be making any mid-season trades, then it's becoming increasingly possible that the offseason will represent a summer of change in LA. The Lakers will be getting the likes of Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, Lonnie Walker, and Kendrick Nunn off their books, and the 2 draft picks of the 2027 and 2029 seasons intact. They'll hope to make some big moves. Not to mention, they don't really have any players they wouldn't mind trading. AD and the Lakers just never worked out. They did win a ring together, and AD played crucially well, but he didn't become the ever-available player they needed to take over from LeBron. So he could potentially be on his way out of LA too. Lastly, but most importantly, LeBron too could be done with the Lakers. It just doesn't seem likely that the King stays beyond this season should the Lakers write their season off well before January, and he might have a better chance of winning another ring elsewhere. Well, that's a wrap for this video. So what do you think about the Lakers' decision to not make any mid-season trades and write off the remainder of the season? And should the King be looking to leave the Lakers? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.